Hi guys, I just want to show you a quick little demonstration video how to make one of these little patchwork or woven hearts. There are two ways you can do this. You can either start with these pre-cut pieces which make a slightly smaller heart, or you can grab one of these stencils and make a slightly bigger heart using some scraps of felt. So if you're going to use this one, you're going to need some scraps of felt that this will fit onto. And you're going to not waste any felt, so put your stencil right up on the edges and use a fine liner to trace around. The trick to tracing with a fine liner is don't push hard, just drag it along lightly and make sure you go right up to the end of these slots. And you need two of these, so I've got one and my other one is going to be orange. And again, I've got a big piece of felt here, so I'm not going to slip it into the middle here. I'm going to move it right over to the edge. In fact, I'm going to use this little bit that's sticking out here, making the most of the felt, not wasting it. So I'm going to line this side up here. Think about, other people need to use the felt. Let's not waste it. Remember, don't press hard with the fine liner. It should work by itself. Okay, once we've done that, we need to cut these two pieces out. I won't cut both of them out. I'll just cut one because I'm going to do the demonstration with the pre-cut one. So cut neatly on the line. And the most important thing if you're cutting this piece yourself is to make sure you cut the two slots in the felt right up to the end. In fact, you can go a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm at the end there. I'm just going to go a little bit past, just a smidge. If you cut them too short, the two heart pieces won't fit together. So you better go a little bit longer. So you need two of those. Cut your other one out exactly the same way. All right. I'm going to continue on with this one. So this is called a woven heart because it is actually woven. So start with one piece on an angle, lift up the center, and you're going to lay this one across like this. And you should see that fits in there. Lay this down. Now we're going to lift this one up, bring this one across, and lift that one up. And you can see that we've woven across here. The last one goes in like this. Now, if yours is looking a bit messy and it's not that neat, it takes a little bit of time to just adjust these, fiddle with them. The main one you want to get lined up is this bottom one, just adjusting and pushing and tugging. Okay, now a glue stick comes in handy here. And the main one you want to get glued together is this bottom one. If you get this one in place, the rest of it should work. So a bit of glue stick, and the way this works better is put glue stick on this side and this side. Okay, just a blob in the middle. You don't have to do the whole thing, and then stick that down. And you can kind of just adjust and pull on these ones. Now the next step with this, if you can leave it plain, or if you like, you can sew some beads or buttons onto these. So the next step is actually sewing your beads and buttons. Try and get a smallish needle, some thread, an arm's length as usual. Thread up your needle. Now we're going to do this slightly different. We've been sewing with a single thread. You can do this with a double thread because we're sewing buttons or beads on. So double thread, knot in it as usual. Now, to sew the beads on, you've got to check that you can actually get your needle through the bead. Can you see that? So I'm actually slow that I can actually get that on. So that's great, but I'm not going to sew it on yet. I'm going to start in the middle of the square where I want to sew this. And I'm going to then thread my bead on and then put the bead through and thread it on like this. Now, because I've used a double thread, that's all I need to do because it's nice and strong. I just need to do that little notch at the back where I pick up a little bit of the felt. I do 1 stitch, 2 stitches, and then go through the loop. And that will hold it in place. And then you just leave a tag, okay, to sew your next bead on. Double thread, put a knot in the end, and then I've got to check, find another one. Now, not all of these, will that go through? Yep, that one goes through, but I want to do a different bead. I'm actually going to do a round bead here, and that definitely goes over the eye. Okay, take that off. I'm going to put this one in the middle. Oops. Pop that in there so it doesn't roll around. So again, into the middle. Now you can put your beads wherever you like. So hook it on. There we go. And then fix it in place. Okay. And leave a thread. Now, let's pretend I've put as many beads as I like, and you can do 1 in each square, you can do as many as you like. Okay, now I need to make a back for this. So what I do is I grab some felt, whatever colour you would like. I'm doing a Christmas theme, you don't have to. This one's not a Christmas theme. Okay, this is a right angle, so you can find a corner of the felt. Remember, we're not wasting our felt, so find a corner, trace around this. There we go. You can then cut this out. Whoop. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. All right, now we need to go back to a single thread. If you don't have enough thread, you can go get a new piece. I'm going to start with a knot. Now, here's a little trick so we don't end up with a messy back. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start with my knot in between these 2 layers, and I'm going to start at the point. And I'm going to sew small stitches, and this really does need to be small stitches because you're not just holding the back together, you're holding the woven piece together as well. Work your way around. And a little trick, when you get to these, try and have the stitch go over, not finish before, because then it will kind of hold that edge down. If you see what I'm talking about, it holds the green edge down. And you go all the way around, come around to about here, then you can stuff it. Make sure you do the stuffing on the straight side. It's much easier to sew up a straight edge. So all the way around, stuffing in here. Don't overstuff it, just a little bit. And when you've done that, you can actually tie a piece of thread, sew a piece of thread to the top to make a hanger. And that's how you put together one of these little woven hearts.